Oh man, guys, it is 2 a.m. and I am so tired that a spider just lowered itself from my ceiling right in front of my face, and instead of freaking out, I just reached out and I just squished it with my fingers, which I don't do ever. So good morning, good night, hi guys, welcome to part 2 of All About Papaya. This will be about his creation and designs and stuff throughout the years. This is too long of an intro, so we're gonna start talking about Papaya. So, Papaya was created back in 2011, I think, and his original name was actually Tyker. Tyker. This was during the time where I really needed like super original names. And I remember looking up the name Tyker on DeviantArt because that's the platform I used a lot. And I didn't see any characters with that name. I saw like a horse. Like there was like a real life pictures of horses and that horse was named Tyker. So I was like, you know what? He only shares the name with this one horse on DeviantArt. This is an original name, I'll take it. So his name was Tyker. He was actually created by a dream I had. So like I wasn't planning on creating him. I just remember having this dream where I was like in the woods or something, and there is some sweet, cute, innocent little guy in the woods with deer horns, and I woke up and I was like, yep, that guy is gonna be a new OC, and he was born. So his original design did have horns. Originally, they were more deer-like. I wonder if I can find a picture of him with his deer horns. I might not be able to, but yeah. So he had like deer horns in his first design. And he also had pale white skin because Luca had pale white skin back then as well. The demons in my demon universe back then all had like pale skin. I don't think they were really shapeshifters then, so yeah. Or were they? Oh god, I don't even remember. But yeah, so he had pale skin and his eyes were blue, and he didn't have any, like, even the whites of his eyes were not even white, they were blue as well. He had freckles still, so that's cool, and he wore like a bandana around his neck and a vest. That's just the style that I was into back then. And he also had these two hair clips that I always drew him in, and it wouldn't be long until he would get a little bit of a design change. So I think he was created like in the beginning of 2011, and towards the end of 2011 I gave him like human color skin, I guess. Oh yeah, he also had blue hair. I don't know why he had blue hair. I needed a character with blue hair. Personality wise, he was pretty much the same. He was always this like super sweet guy. His horns, when I ended up changing the design of his horns a bit, and already in the end of 2011, his horns changed from deer-like to more demon-like, but they were round and they kind of went around his head a little bit, and that was to look like a halo, like he had a halo, because he's honestly, like, out of all my characters, he's the sweetest, most pure character I've ever had. So his horns were supposed to signify that. But yeah, back then, he had absolutely nothing for Luca. No romantic, I don't know if he did, but he just really wasn't that well developed. He was mostly created just for Luca to have a friend, pretty much. Him, Luca, and another character I had by the name of Checkers, they were kind of like a trio, and I would draw them together a lot. Checkers didn't really have a lot to do with the story. It was just for art, inspiration. But yeah, Tyker, Papaya, whatever his name was, wasn't really well developed. It wasn't until the next year, so 2012, that I gave him a little bit more of a backstory. So his design didn't change too much. This was like his very first reference picture that I have of him. His design didn't change. He wore pretty much the same clothing. He just had human skin now. But yeah, his name was still Tyker. At that time, I made him 17 years old just because that's around the age I was. Now he does age up as I age up. But now he's at a set age of like 24 or something like that. But yeah, so when he first started out, he was around 17, and he was born in May, but now he's born in February. I did go into his backstory a little bit more. So he did not have a set place to live. He was still half human, half nightmare demon. But you know how in the news story, I guess, he kind of comes across Luca in the city that he lives in. Well, back then, he didn't really have a place to live. He kind of just traveled. He didn't have, like, I think back then he did have parents, but why did he not live with them? I don't know. And he didn't really have any friends. He was very lonely because he was half nightmare demon and he just couldn't really fit in. But yeah, so he didn't live anywhere. He finds Luca pretty much a similar way in the current story. Back then he carried around a like satchel, or is that the term? Or like a side bag, and I didn't remember why until just now when I found the reference sheet. Apparently he used to map out all of the places that he traveled, and he would keep it in the bag. He would just make handmade maps. I guess that was a thing he was into. That's not anything that he's into anymore, but you know, that's interesting. Pretty much same backstory with the nightmare demon stuff, where he didn't know he was a nightmare demon until later on in life, where he started getting all these weird things happening to him. So yeah, same thing. The biggest difference, I think, personality-wise, is that he looked up to Luca. Back then, his name was Zenith, whatever. He looked up to him like as a brother. There was like absolutely nothing romantic between them. It was very much like a Papaya. Oh my god, like Tiger really, really looked up to Zenith, whatever, like a lot. Like he adored him in a he's my role model type of thing, you know. And it wouldn't be until like 2015, 2016 where I was more open to giving them a romantic relationship. Yeah, but back then I was like, nah, they're just like really close friends. Don't know why. I just didn't want that for him, you know? I just wanted him to be his own person that didn't need to rely on this romantic relationship. But honestly, like, I don't care anymore. They're soulmates. You can't change my mind. Whatever. So I'm actually not sure when exactly I changed his name from Tiger to Papaya. The first art piece that I found with his new name was in 2015, but honestly, I could have changed his name a little bit before then. I would probably say 2014, 2015 is when I changed his name to Papaya. I'm not really sure why I chose that name. It's technically a nickname. It's not his like legal name, but whatever. I did have like a little ghost creature thing named Papaya before him, and I really liked this ghost creature thing, but I knew I was never gonna use him, so I ended up just giving his name to Tiger. But it's like Tiger and Papaya is like not really a step up or anything. It's still kind of weird, but whatever, I guess. So his name is Papaya now, real name unknown. He was aged up, so this is 2012, I think I already mentioned that, but he is aged, 2015. Oh my god, it is, okay. 2015, he is aged up to 22 years old, and I finally moved his birthday to February, and this is where I make him more open with his sexuality. So he does have a thing for Luca, but back then in 2015, it was very much like, it was almost one-sided, you know? It was very much Papaya really, really pining for Luca, whereas Luca was like, he's kind of a nice guy, but like he didn't really want to get involved or anything, and he still kind of doesn't, but current Luca is definitely a little more open to that stuff. But yeah, so 2015, more of a pining situation. His personality didn't really change, his backstory didn't change. Papaya has a pretty solid background and personality. Like, he has stayed pretty consistent throughout this whole time. He was always just meant to be my sweet little boy, you know? He had long hair. Oh yeah, obviously his hair is no longer blue, it is brown now, thank goodness. He still has freckles, blue eyes, the same skin or whatever. He was always associated with the color blue, and I think that's was that like the spit just came out? Did I spit on you? I'm so sorry. He was always associated with the color blue. I'm not really sure why, but it could be due to the fact that his original hair color was blue. I don't know if that was something I chose like on purpose or not, but yeah, so his color, also his eyes are blue, so that just always helps. But like, yeah, so he's always associated with the color blue, like a light blue. But yeah, same dude, same cool guy. I adore this guy. I feel like I don't have a lot to say about him. I'm really sorry, but there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to Papaya. In 2016, I ended up giving him a haircut. I actually illustrated like the haircut, not process, but like the aftermath of the haircut, because before he always had like shoulder length hair, and in the haircut picture it's still pretty long, but now throughout time I have shortened it a little bit. But he's pretty much had the same haircut. He's always had like, well, not always, but like since at least 2016, his fringe has been a bit blunt straight across and to the side, so that's something he's held on to. He's always had the same color hair, still has freckles, still same eyes, still same sweet innocent boy. I love this kid so much. Even though he has like a really weird name, I wanted him to look pretty normal, you know? I didn't want him to stand out too much. He's just your regular young guy. He's 24 now, so he's your regular young guy who you wouldn't suspect to be anything, you know, different. He's so sweet, and like, it's just, he would give the world to anyone. But obviously he has this kind of like sad past. He doesn't have parents anymore. He doesn't understand who he is, and he just struggles with a lot of things. But despite all of that, he's this super sweet guy, unassuming guy. So I just needed him to look not necessarily plain, but I just want him to be a normal looking dude. And I think it just contrasts with Luca, who's this very not normal looking dude. He's like a creep with this sweet little bunny next to him at all times. I love it. Papaya nowadays, like I said earlier, has more of a thing for Luca, and Luca does, you know, what's the word? It's 2 a.m. Reciprocate. Is that the word? He feels those feelings back for Papaya. But yeah, I mean, like I said, did I talk about the story that he dies? He does die, like I've mentioned probably before. Did I mention that in the last video? I should have watched the last video before making this video. But he does in the end die, as most people do. I'm only mentioning this because every time I draw a picture of Papaya, people always comment like, isn't he dead? Why are you still drawing him? He's still dead. And it's like, yeah, I can still draw him even though he dies at the end of his story, you know? Like, all of my characters are gonna die in the end of their story, so it doesn't mean I have to stop drawing them. People draw fan art of characters who die in their respective stories, so I don't know why people are constantly commenting like, he's dead. What, like, wait, isn't he dead? Like, I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine. So, yes, he does die. Yes, I'm still gonna draw him. Yes, you can still draw him. That's just a thing that I have to deal with. That's pretty much the end of the video. I know I didn't really like talk about him too much. Like, I feel like my Luca video was way more informative, but also Luca is my main character who has gone through a lot more changes, and you know, both design-wise and personality-wise, whereas Papaya was, like I said, very consistent, so there really wasn't a lot to talk about. But yeah, this is his new reference sheet. So yeah, in the reference sheet, I was gonna color him in blue because that's what I usually do, but I decided to go with brown. If I don't color him in any shades of blue, I will always go for like autumny colors. I just like how that looks on him. He's very much like a comfort character, I guess. One of my comfort OCs. So I like to draw him in like really comfortable clothing. So like he likes loose t-shirts and hoodies and, you know, soft autumny colors. That's just my go-to. It makes him look so soft and comfy and like cuddly. So that's just what I like to portray him in. I drew him looking in a mirror while he has a face mask on. His friend convinced him to try a face mask because it's good for his skin or whatever. And so he's looking at himself and he's like, cool, like, you know, he's amazed at what he looks like, and he has his hair pinned back with the hairband. And then I drew a couple of doodles of him with different emotions. In the reference, it says he doesn't hide his emotions at all, which is true. He wears his heart and his emotions on his sleeve. He does not really hide anything. He's very open, and I don't know, I just really like that about him. I admire people who are very, you know, who don't mind being vulnerable. So yeah, he's just that kind of guy. Also, I gave him an inch. So before, for all of his designs, he was 5'8", but just recently I made him 5'9". Congratulations, Papaya, you're an inch taller. Yay! So that is pretty much it. Yep. So thank you so much for watching. Please be good outlets, and I will see you guys next time. Good night.